You want to know how my entire life got turned upside down by a neighbor who thought she could do whatever she wanted? Well, let me tell you. It started with just a few words that still ring in my ears like a bad country song. That dog will be dead by tomorrow. That's what Karen Wheeler. Perfect manicure. HOA clipboard. The whole 9 yards hissed at me while pointing her finger at Max, my golden retriever. I gotta admit, at first I almost laughed. I mean, who says that to somebody's face? But the thing is, Karen Wheeler had no clue who she was dealing with, and she really had no idea what Max meant to me. Or that I was Congresswoman Sarah Mitchell just trying to live a quiet life. But you know how it goes when someone like Karen pulls the trigger. She isn't just starting a feud, she's lighting a fire. Let me back up a sec just so you get the full picture. It was a Saturday morning sun, barely up, birds chirping, and I was walking Max like I always do, his vest and patches clear as day. Now Max isn't just a pet, he's my lifeline. My service dog, the only thing standing between me and some pretty dark places. PTSD's a nasty beast, you know. Max gets it before I do. He'll nudge me. Keep close, kind of say, "Hey, I got you." So we're out there just minding our own business, when Karen comes storming out of her perfect colonial silver hair heels, clicking like she's going to a board meeting instead of starting a fight. "Your dog's breaking our leash laws, I've told you, short leads only," she shrieked. It was like she wanted the whole neighborhood to hear. I just took a breath. Max pressed against my leg and tried to keep my voice steady. "He's a service dog, Karen. Legally, he's allowed a loose leash so he can do his job." But Karen just about blew a gasket, eyes blazing, lips pursed. "Service dog, my foot. You're making excuses just to drag that mutt into our park." See, this wasn't our first rodeo. Karen had been after us for months. She refused to look at Max's certification or any of the paperwork I kept ready just for her. She was convinced I was trying to bend the rules like I was some kind of threat to her tiny suburban kingdom. What Karen didn't realize was the quiet neighbor she kept hassling had a few more tools in her toolbox than most. But at that point, I was just trying to keep my peace. I moved here after a car crash at 19 took my parents and left me with scars. Some you can see, some you can't. Max is what gets me through the day. But that day Karen was determined to make a scene. "I'm reporting you to the board," she yelled, waving her clipboard like it was a sword. "That dog will be gone before the month is out." She stomped off and Max pressed against my leg like he always did when he felt me start to unravel. I knelt down, scratched his ears, told him we'd be all right. But in my gut, I knew this wasn't over. The thing about Willow Creek is on the surface it's this picture-perfect gated community, flowers blooming, kids playing picket fences. Underneath, it's a simmering pot of rules and whispers and people like Karen thinking they run the show. I'd come here for a little peace and anonymity, but instead every morning felt like walking a tightrope. Anyway, the next morning started out normal enough. Sun out, dew on the grass, Max chasing his tennis ball in our backyard, tongue lolling, tail wagging. For a minute, I actually felt like things might calm down. But then a gunshot. Just one loud and final like a door slamming shut. Max let out a yelp and dropped to the grass, blood blooming beneath him. I froze, time stretching out like taffy, then ran screaming, trying to press my hands over the wound, telling him he'd be okay, but already knowing. I looked up and there was Karen at the fence, gun in hand, face cold as ice. "He was off leash," she said. That's it. No apology, no shock. Just those words. I lost it. I screamed at her. "He was in my yard. He's a service dog. What the hell is wrong with you?" My neighbor Tom ran over white as a sheet calling 911. The vet showed up quick, but it was no use. Max died in my arms, looking at me like he was sorry he had to go. Something inside me broke. Maybe not my heart, but something even deeper, the last little thread keeping me together. Karen didn't even blink. She went right into spin mode, told the cops Max was aggressive, that she was afraid for her life, and her HOA cronies backed her up without even a second thought. The cops tried to look sympathetic, but you could see it, they didn't believe me. Karen walked away free, and I was left in the backyard holding the only thing that kept me steady. The days after that are kind of a blur. Grief and nightmares, panic attacks that hit me in the cereal aisle in the car in the halls of Congress. Without Max, it was like being tossed in the ocean with no life raft. But anger's a funny thing. It can keep you from drowning when nothing else will. I called my lawyer, Emily. She's a pit bull in heels, the kind of person you want in your corner. When she heard what happened, she got real quiet and then said, "She broke federal law, Sarah. We're going after her with everything we've got." So I did what I do best. I got organized. Gathered every bit of evidence, Max's certification, my medical records, statements from my Dr. Tom's eyewitness account. But the twist. Another neighbor, Lisa, had been FaceTiming her daughter at the exact moment of the shooting. Her phone caught the whole thing. Karen gun in hand, Max playing in the yard, the shot. We had her and she didn't even know it. 3 weeks later, at the monthly HOA meeting, I showed up ready for battle. The room was packed, people whispering, shooting Karen dirty looks. When they opened the floor, I stood up and said, "My name is Sarah Mitchell. You might know me as the quiet one down the street. But I'm also your congresswoman, and I'm here because your HOA president shot and killed my service dog." You could feel the shock ripple through the crowd. Karen went pale. Her friends stared at the floor, and I laid out everything, every bit of evidence, the video, the laws she'd broken. When Lisa's video played on the screen, you could hear people gasp. This woman has ruled our community through fear and intimidation long enough, I said, my voice shaking just a little. She's abused her power, broken the law, and committed an act of cruelty that can't go unpunished. The board didn't even hesitate. They voted unanimously to strip her of her title, ban her from serving, and had security walk her out while she shrieked about conspiracies and lawsuits. For the first time, people in Willow Creek actually breathed a sigh of relief. Now, don't get me wrong, nothing was bringing Max back. But Emily filed our lawsuit, and with the video, there was no way for Karen to weasel out. Neighbors came forward with their own horror stories about her harassment, fines, intimidation. When we got to court, Karen's whole act fell apart. The judge found her guilty of animal cruelty, trespassing, assault, emotional distress, the works. 6 months in jail, big fines, mandatory therapy, lifetime firearm ban. The new HOA rewrote the rules to protect service animals and got rid of the dumbest fines. People started talking, building each other up instead of hiding behind their doors. I'd love to say that's where it ends, but honestly, grief doesn't just pack up and leave. I missed Max every single day, reaching for him at night, hoping I'd hear his paws on the floor. My therapist said maybe it was time to consider another dog. At first, I couldn't imagine it. It felt like betraying Max. But 3 months after he died, I got a call from the shelter. They had a golden retriever named Luna, sweet, smart, but scared. She'd been bounced from home to home like nobody wanted her. I almost said no, but something in the director's voice changed my mind. Luna was smaller, lighter fur, but when she looked at me, I saw that spark, the same kind of understanding that made Max special. I sat on the floor, she crawled into my lap, and I just broke down. It wasn't just grief anymore, it was hope. The adoption went fast. Luna picked up training like she'd been born for it, interrupting nightmares, warning me when panic set in, making crowds less scary. She wasn't Max, but she didn't have to be. She was just what I needed. The story didn't stay in Willow Creek. Local news picked it up, then national. Letters poured in, other people who'd lost service animals or been bullied by HOAs or just wanted to say thank you. I took all that, turned it into something bigger, working on new laws to protect service dogs, speaking at rallies, meeting with veterans and trauma survivors, making sure Max's death meant something. It became a movement. Karen Wheeler. She moved away, reputation in tatters, future shot. I don't wish her misery, but I hope somewhere out there she realizes what she did, the life she took, the pain she caused, the good she accidentally sparked. Every morning, Luna and I walk through the same park where Max and I used to go. It's open to service dogs now, kids playing, laughter everywhere. Luna is her own kind of healer, more playful, more social, sometimes dragging me over to people who look like they need a little comfort. But every now and then when we sit in the grass and watch the sunset, I whisper, "We did it, Max." Justice was served. In the breeze and Luna's calm, I like to think he's there too proud of us both. But you know what, justice is never a straight line. It's messy, slow, and sometimes you gotta lose everything before you find a way to make things right. So if you're still here, maybe ask yourself, what would you do if your peace was shattered, if someone hurt what you loved most? Would you fight back, or would you let it slide? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's see where you stand on justice, forgiveness, and standing up to bullies. Because trust me, the fight's not over. Not really. But love is always worth it.